Hey there! Today we'll be talking about referencing users, specifically the users for an avatar. So let's get right into it. Getting our ProtoFlux tip, we actually have most things just very straight up laid out. So if we go into our ProtoFlux notes and then go to the bottom, well nearly the bottom, we have this users folder here where we have the the host user. Now host user is just the person running the world, be it a headless or otherwise. A local user is, in most cases, yourself, or more specifically, it's the person running the code. So if you press a button, for example, local user would output whoever pressed the button. Then one of the most popular nodes, get active user self, it simply outputs whoever it is parented under. So if I grab it, you'll see it outputs my user. Then the original variant of getActiveUserSelf is getActiveUser. This will output a user that the slot it's referencing is under. So for example, if I selected myself and then grabbed a slot from myself, such as this capsule here that's parented under my head, and drop it in here, you'll see it's now outputting my user just like if I grab this one. Now, this one here has some edge case like niche uses where you might want to use this one. In most cases though, you don't need to use this one. Local user has some very good uses in most cases where you're already filtering which user is triggering code with a fire on active and stuff like that. You can use local user basically just as a shorthand for the user that I filtered for previously. You just need to be careful with this one because if you do mess up, then this is going to trigger on everyone. So just test your stuff first. GetActiveUserSelf, in most cases, this is literally what you want. It is the MVP, probably the most used node on like avatar systems. And then GetActiveUserSelf, similar to GetActiveUser, similar to GetActiveUserSelf. Very, very important node. Not as used as getActiveUserSelf, specifically just because in most cases you just need to reference the specific slot that the object is on, the specific user that the object is under, but this one is useful for if you have an object that drops out of your avatar hierarchy, so you can still reference your user. As a final little extra, I'm actually going to talk about one last thing, which is that active user versus the user wearing the avatar. Because as I said, this will also output it if I just grab the node, which also means that if I'm not in the avatar, but I'm holding the avatar, it'll actually output the user. One way that you can actually solve this issue, or it's not really an issue, it's more just that if you don't want that to happen, you can fix it. And that is simply in the inspector. You'll want to get yourself a component on your avatar somewhere. It doesn't have to be underneath your head. It can be basically anywhere on your avatar. Then we just go to users on the components, common avatar system, and we'll want a avatar user reference assigner. And this is a very simple component. Basically, when the avatar is equipped, it can assign to a specific slot or a list of slots that reference a user, the specific user that is equipping the avatar. So if, for example, we had a user reference here, like this user input field, and then I actually just select that, go into the inspector, go to the root of the node, object input, and then we grab the target here, and we fill it into the, there we go, into the references. Now, if I'll spawn out another avatar, there we go. So I'll spawn out this avatar over here, which you won't see, but yeah. I'll just move like right here. So now if I equip this avatar, it'll stay null for now. Because, well, I'm not in the avatar. But the moment I now hop back into my avatar, you'll see that now it's referencing the user, which is me. And if I hop back out of the avatar, it'll no longer reference the user because there's no one in here. If I just grab the avatar, you'll see it stays null because there's no user in the avatar. But yeah, that is pretty much everything that I can show you about referencing users for avatars. I hope this helps you, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.